What is up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of PPS. I'm your host, Jonathan Rittenauer, and in this week's episode, we'll be looking at the Steelers' Week 16 blunder versus the New York Jets and their Week 17 matchup versus the red-hot Ravens. But first, let's talk about this loss. This was a game that the Steelers should have won. There's no excuse for why they lost this game. On paper, statistically, from the outside looking in, it looked like the Steelers had a for sure win. Sam Darnold has been struggling all year. Lev Bell hasn't had a 100-yard game yet. So everybody thought that the Steelers would win this game for sure. But instead, they're on the outside looking inside on the playoffs, relying on a couple of losses and them winning this week in order to make the playoffs. They could have been sitting pretty in the last AFC wildcard spot, but now we're here. Devlin Hodges has officially killed us twice. One thing that Mike Tomlin has complimented him on in his first three starts was Devlin Hodges hasn't killed us, but now the time has officially come where he has killed us twice. There was no running game. There was no passing game until Mason Rudolph came in, which is a big surprise. My mind is blown because I would have never thought I would be saying that. He came in and he went 14 of 20 with 129 yards and one TD pass to Deontay Johnson to tie it before half. But up until that point, Duck had thrown two interceptions. I believe it was in the first quarter, or maybe one was in the first quarter, one was in the beginning of the second quarter. And then Devlin Hodges had been benched, which rightly so. You know, Devlin Hodges, from the outside looking in, I thought he would be an NFL quarterback. I think everybody thought it would be a great story. You had this undrafted rookie come in and just light up the NFL, but that hasn't happened. And I don't think it will happen. I really am starting to second guess my thoughts on Devlin Hodges just because of all the mistakes that he's been making. He's been making bad reads. Like, my question is, why would you throw the ball? Why would you throw the ball to Samuels, which is a running back, to the corner of the end zone? Why would you not throw it to one of your wide receivers? Just making bad decisions over and over again. And in his first couple of starts, he looked good. He wasn't making bad throws. He wasn't being rushed to make bad decisions. Sometimes he would just throw the ball away or take the sack. But instead, he's been making rush passes, which lead to bad decisions and bad interceptions. But another problematic thing here is James Conner went out in the second quarter with a thigh injury, and it is uncertain if he's going to play against the Baltimore Ravens. I'm really starting to question whether or not he should be our starting running back. It's not his talent. His talent's there. He's a good running back. It's just he's not a healthy running back. He's fragile. Every week it seems like he has an injury. Every week it seems like he's gone down with an injury. He's missed over half the season. He missed over half the season last year. So it makes you question, do we have to go out and find a starting running back? A running back that is reliable, especially when it comes to not being injury prone? I think James Conner is a little too fragile, and, it's not his fault. I think, a lot of it has stemmed from his battle with cancer. You go through chemo, you go through all those other processes that occur, and it may make you fragile over time, so maybe that's what we're seeing the fruit of. See, the offense isn't getting it done. Scoring 20 points over your last two games, especially against a Jets defense and secondary, you score only 10 points, and that only comes at the first half, and that's problematic because Mason Rudolph goes down with an injury at the beginning of the third quarter. But the defense played well once again, and it just feels like every time the defense plays well, it's squandered by the offense. They held Sam Darnold to 183 yards and Le'Veon Bell to only 72 yards on the ground. Lev Bell still hasn't had 100-game rushing yet. The defense had two interceptions, one coming at the end of the second quarter, setting the offense up for 7 points to tie the game before half at 10 all. But the defense has been coming up huge lately. And it's sad to see because it seems like, we're not 100% that Bud Dupree's going to be back next year. And that tandem of TJ Watt and Bud Dupree may not be here next year. So we're squandering this talent. And it's not anybody's fault. I mean, Ben goes down with an injury. It's just you have these. It's just unfortunate. You have these, second and third string quarterbacks coming in trying to fulfill a number one role, and I give them a bit of grace because they never started in the NFL until this season. So that brings me to this point. I know that Devlin Hodges was already set to start. But would it hurt to start Paxton Lynch? I know I laughed at it last week, and this week I'm going back on what I said. But I feel like it doesn't hurt, right? You're still going up against a Ravens defense that is going to come out and probably play really hard. Because there's nothing, we all can come to the agreement that the Ravens, there's nothing more exciting than knocking the Steelers out of the playoffs. And so you think about this, what's it going to hurt? There's a reason why this guy was drafted in the first round. I mean, obviously someone saw, talent in this guy, and he's played in the NFL. I mean, it was only for a short stint, so that makes you wonder, is there more to this guy? I understand it. You're going to start Devlin Hodges because he has a little more experience this year. But if he makes the mistakes like he did last week, I say you don't hesitate. You just put Paxton Lynch in because you have nothing to lose by that point. On the other front, the good news about this Week 17 matchup is that the Ravens are sitting Lamar Jackson, Mark Ingram, and various other starters so that they don't get injured, which is great for the Steelers. But still, I have little to no hope for the Steelers. I really think that going into this game, they could be playing their third-string quarterback and they would still lose because our offense doesn't put up any points. They probably could put up 3 points and still win this game. But like I stated, I still expect the Ravens to win this game. The defense is too strong for the Devlin, even without the starters. And RG3, he's no scrub, RG3 is still a talent. He can still run with the ball. I think our defense will do well holding them, but even if they score just 10 points, I think the Baltimore Ravens defense is going to hold the Steelers to basically no points. And it seems like that is just a consistent theme. It is just dreadful to watch this offense this year. And it's not anybody's fault except for the quarterbacks. And it's, and you think about that, it's kind of not their fault. They've been thrusted into a situation. But I predict the Ravens to win this game 21-14. In order for the Steelers to make the playoffs, there's a couple scenarios to keep in mind. The Steelers need to win, and the Titans need to lose. Or the other scenario, the Steelers lose. They would need the Titans to lose, the Colts to win, and the Raiders to lose. The Raiders are playing the Broncos. So I don't know if they're going to lose. I mean, that's hard for me to imagine. But the Titans, they just came off a big loss last week, so I can't see them coming back and doing the same this week, especially against the Texans team that barely beat Tampa Bay. And the Texans already won a game, so I'm not 100% sure, with the Texans being in the playoffs, if they're going to start Watson at all. I'd be very surprised if they start a lot of their starters. So it just, there's a lot of questions that go through your mind this week. And so the Steelers, they have a lot, their futures in a lot of other teams' hands right now. Again, which seems to be a common theme, last year and the year before. Maybe not the year before, last year. But, you got to just wonder, what Steelers team is going to come out. It's been consistent to see what Steelers team comes out. It's been the team that can barely put any points up on the board. So I'm just expecting a loss this week, 21-14. If you have any different, predictions, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next episode. I hope you guys are enjoying these episodes, these podcasts. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.